Hey there, everybody. David the Jello Fox here. Got another update for Project Outcast. Technically, I'm calling it Project Wander at the moment because I'm just building the biome generation. So I've got the biome noise to finally work correctly, and I'm starting to fill out the details with the different biomes. Here you can see a temperature border where one climate turns into another. I'm probably gonna have to add a noise to it, like I did with the biome noise, so that it's not just a straight jagged line. So down here, there's a little bit of noise. Um, but anyways, I've gotten it to the point where it can generate terrain, and around the zero mark, about here, we're at -1 for the noise value, and then as you go down, this is about 0 on the noise value. And then it doesn't quite go down to ocean here before climbing back up. But it goes, the noise, Perlin noise, simple noise, goes from -1 to 1. And then I do a lot of math tricks in order to get this to generate the different biomes, the different heights, and to do all this fancy stuff. These are the hot biomes, and then they transition back to normal. So, that's what I've been working on, is trying to get the biome transitions correct. Basically, every biome has a hot variant and a cold variant. And the idea is that by having the world have this noise... Ooh, there we go, down to a frozen ocean down here. This is like beach. The idea is that if it was all just the same biomes over and over, then at whichever altitude, you'd always know what's next. But with the temperature noise, which I'm going to adjust, you'll run into different, temperatures. Like you'll run into a desert or a jungle or a savanna or a tundra, frozen peaks, like right here. And they'll each have their own variances. They'll all look different. In fact, I've got to figure out a way to do mesa because they like to have that terracotta. Like in Minecraft, you see the terracotta has the strata of different colors. I gotta figure out how to do that. So right now I've got the world shrunk down so that I can test these features, but eventually all this will be stretched out. And it'll take a while to get through each biome. But yeah. So each world will have quite a few biomes to explore. I didn't like that Starbound had just, looping planets after a couple of biomes. I mean, it was fun for a while, but I think it's old. Another feature I have to implement is the underground, how that's going to generate the different levels of depths. Because you'll have your surface level, and then you'll have your mid-level, and so on and so forth. And under each biome will be different underground. So I'm working on it. I got plans. I'm making it happen. And it's coming together. Now, the other problem is finally we reach ocean. This is ocean. Technically, this would be the ocean floor, and the actual ocean would be coming up to, like, I don't know, here or so. Then this would be part of the beach. But yeah, there's a lot of work to do. A lot of things to figure out. I'm just going to keep trudging along with it. Eventually, I have to figure out the parallax and how to keep that, kind of working. It's going to cost me a lot of money to get that artist to draw. The artist that did this background, it cost me $150. I mean, it's really nice and it works really well. I mean, when the camera's zoomed in properly. But to get one for each biome, it's going to be a bit expensive. But yeah, hopefully these worlds will be interesting to explore. And, you know, the goal of the game is to build a playground that people can then later add new planet types, new biome types, and just mod into whatever they want it to be. But Outcast literally is you get stuck on this starter planet that we're on right now and have to scrounge for what little resources there are in order to find a way off the planet and deal with your neighbors and the other criminals that have been dropped here and have had to live here all this time. So yeah, you do a little scrounging, you do a little trading, or you build yourself a ship and you get out of there, and then you're free to explore the galaxy, which will probably be randomly generated from a selection of biomes and planet types. Not every planet will have this many biomes. Some planets will be simple. Some planets will only be hot. Some will only be cold. Really not getting too far into that. But the plan overall is that you will, when you have a ship, you will fly into orbit of whatever planet you want. Then you can go left or right, X up or X down, and use the radar to search for the biome you want to land in or points of interests. And the game will just be reading based on the ground level. It'll be able to tell you, like, say right here, there's these hills and whatnot, but that's part of the biome. The actual ground level is somewhere like right here in the middle. And based on the ground level, it'll be able to tell you what biome it is, plus the temperature, so you know which variant it is. And that's how you'll hunt for resources. I haven't gotten to the part where I'm going to be programming points of interest like towns and stuff, but those will mostly happen in the flatter biomes where it's easier to place objects, or around the ocean, where if the ocean's big enough, there'll be enough room for like an ocean city or a boat or something. Placing other biomes would be, or placing other points of interest would be difficult. But, as you can see, you can just keep going and this will just keep generating new biomes, and the noise, it was really tricky getting the noise to work this way. But I eventually figured out a way, I'm not going to be sharing it, with math to get these really tall peaks and then a flat area around zero so I could have flat deserts, flat plains, or flat frozen lakes, and then back down to the ocean. This is all just math. I tried to learn some trigonometry to make it work, and it didn't quite click with my brain, but eventually oopsed my way into a solution. And here you can see the biome blend kind of working properly. You can see how the biomes kind of blend together rather than being a straight line. So yeah, there's a lot to do, but I'm getting there. Mind you, there's no actual gameplay yet. I still have to add all the flora and fauna. I have to make the trees. I have to work out all the tree. Ooh, that was an interesting bug. Okay, so jumping like this, I must have jumped more than once off a block. I don't know, that was an interesting bug. Mind you, the character's not supposed to be able to move this fast. And eventually I have to figure out how to get the step up to work, so I can go up. Maybe there'll be an animation where if you hit, and if it's not hitting the secondary collision state, it'll go up. I don't know. But yeah, infinitely generated planets with the same biomes. So you can just keep wandering, keep exploring, and eventually find yourself a good spot to live. Ooh, that was a fun jump. all the way from the mountain down to the ocean. I really have high hopes for this project. It's going to take a while. It's going to take a lot of work. And like I said, with the parallax, if I want to keep hiring the artist that did this, Tommy, to keep painting backgrounds like this, I really like his work. It works great when the camera's zoomed into the right amount. Mind you, I'm chunk loading an absurd amount of chunks just to show off what's going on. And the game's having to keep up with this, but it's doing rather well. For one thing, I'm not generating the background tiles. I'm just doing foreground, the tiles you interact with. So once I start generating the background tiles as well, that'll be a hit to performance. Once I add the cave system in, which will do further steps to cut away parts of the planet, then there's the ores and different flora and eventually fauna. I'm going to make trees their own scenes so that you can walk up to a tree and then attack it like it's a scene object. And then it'll, once it loses all its HP to, the correct damage type, like wood axe, it'll topple over and drop its materials like in Starbound. But it'll ignore other points of damage like bullets and stuff, unless its source block is destroyed. There's a lot of potential. There's a lot of stuff I could do. I even talked with my friend about possibly doing like Tears of the Kingdom like construction for like vehicles and stuff. You can build your own vehicles out of parts using a mini tile map, and then that tile map will act as an object in the world, interacting with the other tiles and moving around. So it first starts as an object that just floats, and then you place your items in it. Your character is static during the process, and then once you complete it, it drops into the world and will be able to do its own stuff. Another problem I've got is I gotta figure out liquids. I have to figure out the cellular automata and the liquids system. I have to get lighting to work because my previous attempt at lighting was, it was slow. And so I got to figure that out. There's a lot to do. I think the simplest thing with lighting would be to take an image of the screen minus the background. Say like just this foreground layer, take an image of the screen. All the areas that are solid would be turned black, and then the other areas would be white, and then bleed in. So you would turn like an area grayscale, see where the cursor is, and then apply that as a mask over the top of the game to affect the light and dark, so that down a few blocks everything's black, but you can still see where you're going, and then have that change based on whether you're above ground or not. Well, thank you for watching. I hope you've learned a lot about where I'm at in the project and what I'm hoping to do next. It took a long time to get this to work, but now that I've got world generation and biome generation mostly figured out, there's going to be some exciting things coming. Like I said, it's not really a game yet. It's just an engine to build these endless planets. Sploosh. But everything starts somewhere. All games, all projects start, as small tinkering things. Multiplayer is going to be interesting because I'm going to have to figure out how to sync everything over the different instances. I do have chunk loading set up for multiple chunk loaders, so different players can be running around and it'll be telling the game, hey, these are the chunks that are active because where the players are. And So if you leave your base and you've got a scarecrow out, well, that'll be a chunk loader for a small space, and that'll keep your crops growing. I'm gonna have plants and stuff that have timers on them, and timers only count when the chunk is loaded. If the chunk unloads and it reverts back to its earlier state, and you have to click over the time again. I think this is like a desert right here. Yeah, sand on the top, rock underneath, some limestone and stuff. This is the desert. This is the hot area. I forget which biome this was. This is just under it. Dead forest. No, the dead forest was supposed to be up here. Definitely volcano over here because of all the magma and the brimstone. One of my earlier problems with the generation is that the mountains and the oceans would be these huge insurmountable areas. Like this one's going to be a really big volcano biome, but that's just the way it's generating. And there may be a really big ocean biome down here. Nope, just a small one. Didn't even get all the way down to ocean. So some biomes will be really ridiculously long, some will be short. You're gonna have to explore. You're just gonna have to explore and see what's out there. And there's the ocean. And I hope that this will be fun. I hope people will enjoy it. And I hope that if I can do this correctly, it'll be easy to mod in, add in different planets. Although I'll have to create a specific set of tools to explain and demonstrate how biomes are constructed, the math that's involved. You really just got to change a few variables here and there, and then you let the thing loose to do its thing. But there's like a specific setting that gets this kind of world gen to go. And maybe the other planets will be, I don't know, it'll be crazy generation. You'll turn biome blend up to 150 or whatever, and the biomes will make like circular pockets underground. Whereas above ground, it's this thin slice of plains. Then underneath, you'll have a bit of mountain interior. And it won't make much sense, but it'll look cool. And mind you, this right now is like not final. This will be stretched out like 100 times over or more. See, there's some more biome blend. Making an interesting shape so the biomes aren't, just flat lines. So yeah, I'm happy with how this is turning out. There's a phenomenal amount of work left to do before this is an actual video game. But this is a great start. And I'm honestly amazed that I've gotten this far and gotten this result with my tinkering. I have watched so many different YouTube videos trying to figure out how do I do this stuff, and then iterating on their work to make my own thing. And now I am climbing a mountain as a little dude wearing mostly leather armor. Jumping ridiculously high because you won't be able to do that in the game. And then falling down to the ocean. Bloosh. Oh, no, it's just a flat. See, here we go. I love this. Sometimes you'll go down to ocean. Sometimes you'll go from mountain to plains. I mean, there'll be a forest up here. Then maybe a lake or a swamp down here. And then another plains. And then you're back to another mountain. And that's all in the temperate region, the mild. And then as soon as you get over this tiny little mountain, you'll get to a hot biome where there's just this tall volcano surrounded by mesa. Dry desert mesa. And then back down to ocean. I mean, you don't get this much verticality in the biomes in like Terraria or Starbound. And even when this is stretched out, where everything's wider, you'll still have like a 200 block drop. And these tiles are 12 by 12, but they're 16 by 16 because they overlap. So 12 by 12 being the standard. Just this is huge. The stuff you're going to be able to build in this engine, so long as it actually works. Once I get liquids and everything else put in. Oh, I do want to touch on enemies. So animals and enemies will probably be chunk loaders, but they'll be chunk loaders for just their chunk. So, and then there'll be a timer on them. So if the player is away from the enemy by a certain amount of chunks, they'll only exist for a certain amount of time before the game says, okay, delete, remove the chunk loader, remove the chunk. So if you walk away from an enemy that's following you and you get away from them, and then you come right back, they should still be there. They'll be loading the area around them so that they can still exist and do all their physics for running and jumping and exploring. They'll still know where you are if they're aggroed. But then after a certain distance and a certain time, they should disappear. That's what's planned. I don't know how many chunks and how many chunk loaders I'm going to be able to manage. I guess if there's a bunch of chunk loaders in one chunk and they're just loading this tiny space all together, that's not a problem. But if you've got a huge planet, like here's a big ocean, really big ocean, holy crap. Probably fit some islands or something out there. If they're like spread out over a large area, then that might cause lag. But I don't know. We'll see where it goes, and we'll see what I can manage with this engine. I gotta fix parallax. I have to make parallax work between the different biomes. And I had an idea of combining parallax elements. Say like on the left of the screen, there'll be elements of the biome you're about to run into creeping in, and on the very right of the screen, I'm not sure how to implement that, but tons of ideas. Thank you for watching. I'm David the Jillifox. I dink around in Godot, and I used to 3D model. I do some every now and then. Hope you enjoyed this, and stick around. There hopefully will be more. No idea when this will get done. Bye.